back. Welcome back to the Valley Podcast, episode 5. That one hurt a little bit tonight, but if I'm being completely honest, there's worse ways to lose a game than being down 31 points and then making a triumphant comeback that just falls short. I'm your host tonight, Gabe at Campaign. And, of course, you all know Salty. Salty, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I was on the edge of my roof, but I came off, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. To be fair, that's not just because of the Suns lost.
No. You know how it is, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Arizona sports fan, my Cardinals had 2 chances to get in the playoffs, and they're playing a backup schmuck, and then Kyler Murray. This isn't a football podcast. Long story short, the Cardinals haven't won a championship since 1948. So they call me Salty for a reason. Like I said, I was on the edge of the roof, but Gabe luckily pulled me back. You know what I'm saying? So Suns lost, but moral victories.
He was messaging me from the roof. He's about to go, but he's saying, I don't think I'm going to be able to podcast tonight, looking over the roof. And I'm telling him, hey, man, this is your perfect chance to get on here live in the moment and talk about how you were right. Booker's not playing up to snuff. I didn't want to see it because we were winning, but tonight it kind of cost us, man. I think you were right.
Yeah, the whole me being right just kind of saved it, you know? It got me to get back from the shout out to the Suns, man. They showed their fortitude and moxie, mental fortitude for a young team, man. Normally, because we've seen it a lot in the NBA, lots of teams, they go down by that much, it's over. RIP. Like the Mavericks lost by 30. We beat the Pelicans, beat the bricks off of them by whatever. It's like a lot of this year especially, there's been lots of blowouts. So shout out to them, man.
Yeah. I'm so used to it, right? I mean, wasn't that kind of the way our team was made up last year? See, last year we didn't have teams that were like just outright winning like we are now. We had games where we were having to come back. We'd go down 19, easily come back. We'd go down 25, come back. It's like they would never stop. Javon Carter would get in the game. In the bubble, Campaign would come in. There was nothing that was going to stop us because our team believes in Coach Monty Williams. And we're deep. Like you were saying about us being like the Miami Heat. They are deep, man. And so I was upset that we were losing that much because it felt like it was going to be too much to overcome. But I didn't think that we wouldn't come back and make it close. I didn't think we were going to get down by 1. That was even impressive. But
yeah, I mean, it just shows how deep of a team we are and how good we are, I think, because the Clippers, I think they're better than they were last year. I think they kind of learned from the bubble experience, and they signed some players in the offseason. I think they made some good moves. I think that Paul George had something stuck up his ass because he wanted to go off on us. I don't know if he was upset about that game winner that Book hit over him or the stuff Book was saying to him. He seems to get disrespected by a lot of people in the league, you know?
Yeah, it seemed like it. Right off the bat, one of the first things I wrote down as I was taking my notes on the game, it just felt like they had a chip on their shoulder. The way they went up 16-7 on us real quick. And it almost looked like Paul George had been out there practicing, warming up for like 3 hours before the game, like he had maybe played a couple of pickup games before, because he was in mid-game mode right off the bat. All of his was working, and it just had that feel. Right, it didn't take me long. It didn't take me until they started jawing at each other. I could kind of feel that from the very beginning of the game, man.
Yeah, there's the playoff intensity, which is weird, right? Considering it's the 7th game of the year for them, for the Suns, or what is it, 6, 7? I don't know what it is. It's early in the year, but it felt like playoff intensity is kind of like a rival intensity. And I don't know if that's just because the Clippers they got a chip on their shoulders for what happened in the bubble. The Lakers ended up winning the championship. They went out pretty early. So then you got the Suns coming up, and the national media is talking about them. So they kind of wanted to knock them down a peg, but they came out like balls on the fire, especially Paul George looking like Michael fucking Jordan.
What can I say, man? Looking like Jeremy Lin during his run where everything he put up went in. It's like, where is this Paul George in the playoffs, man? You do this against the lowly Suns because you're mad we hit a game winner against you. Go do this against the Lakers, man. Go do this against Luka when he's got you down by 50 in the first half. Save it for going up against us.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so early on, I noticed also Dario. He's actually really good at playing small ball 5.
He is, man, and I've heard a lot of comments on that because DeAndre Ayton obviously at the 5 brings you a different kind of lineup, but then Dario in there gives you a different look. He stretches, he's that stretch 5, and you're a lot more fast. But I think he's perfect for that second unit,
I mean, he's not a 5. I mean, we're going to call him.
No.
They're going to slide him into the 5 role. But he's like what? He's, I think, 6'10", but he's frail. He's more like a stretch 4 that's just a really good passer. He's a real threat to stand out there after the pick and hit a 3, unlike Ayton. But he's dirty on the inside, man. He loves going up and getting them rebounds. Like, he's not afraid to scrap. He gets putbacks. He's heady enough that when the putback isn't there, he's gonna either tip it out or look for somebody out there to hit for a 3. And we've got shooters on every corner of the 3-point line, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Dario. Remember last year, he was a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah, in the beginning of the year, Dario was struggling, and then he kind of picked it up in the bubble, like before the bubble, like towards late whatever it was, right before the stoppage. So he kind of turned it on. He was kind of inconsistent, but I feel like he has a home here. You remember when he was on the Sixers?
Yes.
Like, that's the Dario I remember, because I don't even remember him playing on the Timberwolves. That's where we got him, right? So I remember him on the Sixers just dicking fools. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he looked really good from afar. He was one of those players that's like, God, how come we never draft a Euro player like that?
Yeah, like he was when the Sixers were turning it around, they were drafting all their players. Dario was like in that mix of, hey, we're turning it around. He's part of that crew, but for some reason he fell out of favor. I don't know if it's because of his play or whatever happened. Then he got shipped to Minnesota. Then we picked him up, but he's a really good, really good bench player.
He's a great bench player. I think under any circumstance he could start at the 4 for us, and he fits really nicely with Ayton because he can help with entry passes. I don't know if you saw how bad Booker's entry passes look tonight. Mm-hmm. They're just uninspired, Yeah. They're too high. They get slapped. But Saric, he knows how to put the ball down in there for Ayton. He can give him some nice feeds, kind of the way that Joe Ingles and Derek Favors. I don't know if you've noticed all the times. It feels like we've already played them 4 times this early season. Those two, man, they know how to pass as big men to each other and just help feed each other. I think Ayton is missing that in the starting lineup.
Yeah, he needs to work on his passing for sure. That's one of his weak points. I think that he had a really fantastic game, though. I know we'll talk about that later, but I like to slander Ayton as much as possible when he deserves it. But, man, the last 2 games, he stepped it up. So props to him.
That brings me to our next segment. This is a new segment that we meant to do last night and just completely forgot in the fervor of being 5-1. Sorry, a couple nights ago. In the fervor of being 5-1, got caught up in the excitement. We forgot to do our new segment. We're going to have to get a logo for this, okay? Grading Ayton. So after every game, I think we should give Ayton a letter grade. Coach Evan is going to join us later. Hopefully he'll be able to get in here. And we'll ask him too. I'll go first. I give Ayton for his performance tonight a B minus. My reasoning, I'll take his performance tonight. If that's what he's going to be, if he's going to get us 24 points and hit a solid turnaround fadeaway bucket in Paul George's face with a little bit of something on the line, if he can bring that to this team, I think we're title contenders. But there's still a little bit more that you expect to see out of Ayton, namely rebounding. He ended with 8 rebounds. That's not enough for him. But my specific gripe is at the end of the first half, he had 8 points and 1 rebound. He was not in the paint. He was getting pushed out. Not only was he not really down low on offense, there was no rebounds coming from him, and he's too big to have 1 rebound in a half. I truly believe, Salty, you or I, who are just about 6'2", I think we could get 1 rebound in a half. But yeah. That's my reason for a B minus. Great job tonight from him, considering the way he's played. This was his first game of 24 points as his season high. Man, I'll take it. I hate to complain. It's just he has so much potential that I can't help but be hard on him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not going to slander him. I think I'd give him like a B plus. I think he did fantastic. I think obviously I sent you those highlights from Twitter. Someone posted them from his college highlights, and I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if it's just the competition or his lack of steroids or whatever, but yeah, he's not dunking. I mean, look at his college highlights. If you're watching this on demand, I mean, go look at him. This dude was bamming over everybody, 2-handed Shaq style, and then for some reason he gets in the league. He gets in the league tonight. He pump faked, had a wide open jam, and then he just kind of lays it in. And it's just like, wow, man, I wish you could just dunk. I don't know what your issue here is, but other than that, that's just kind of nitpicky for me. He looked confident out here. He was doing his mid-range. He was, in there. It was he even scored a clutch basket. I was kind of like holding my breath. He kind of did his thing. He made one. I would get, like I said, a B plus, somewhere in the middle there.
I'm looking for that video right now because I would love to show everyone.
Yeah, it's night and day, man.
No, I found it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it here, and I'm gonna pull it up for everyone. So, man, we've definitely been hard on him, and I'm starting to understand why people don't like that. They feel like we're nitpicking about his dunking, but I just have to specify. I'm not expecting him to be blowing people up at the rim, and I'm not asking him to do anything fancy. I'm not looking for windmills. I'm not looking for reverse dunks that shatter the glass. Salty and I are just talking about right around the rim, no one next to him. And if there is someone next to him, shorties, guard. When there is no excuse for not dunking other than you just didn't want to. And if you just don't want to dunk, I mean, dunks are a stat. They count that stuff like towards I don't know if it goes towards all-star votes and stuff, but they put that stuff in when they're like, oh, Zion's got 83 dunks this year. Look at Anthony Davis, 100 dunks on the year already. It's like, that's something that people notice. And when you're that big, you're that muscular, you're wide open, we've seen you do it before, like we're going to show here. It's just frustrating. It makes me think that he's not in it right now. He's mentally not there. What do you think, man? How do you describe it?
I don't know, man. I can't say that I've dunked before, but then again, I'm not his height, right? So right. What is this dude, 7 feet?
He likes to say he's 7'1", but they're claiming he's 7 foot. I've even seen him listed at 6'10" before. which
So
is outrageous.
I'm 6'1", and I didn't really work on my dunking. If I did, I probably could have. You give me an extra 11 inches, my God, I'll be fucking throwing down.
Absolutely, man. I mean,
But the reason, so people got to understand why we're critical of what he's doing. This is the reason why people wanted to draft this dude number 1. This guy was like coming in like Shaq. Look at his two-handed stuffs. And like it wasn't, this is over a whole season as well, but something's changed, man, because you look at like what he's doing in college to what he's doing in the NBA, and there's a clear change. Like Luka Doncic, when you look at his highlights from the EuroLeague, he's doing the same shit he was doing there, We looked at that. Yeah, yeah.
Great point.
So
this is the type of stuff Ayton was doing. Why isn't he doing it now?
And his defense was horrible coming out of college. You got to give him that props. But look at this. Alley-oop for the dunk, one-handed dunk.
Off an inbound play.
Off an inbound play. Post up, spin for a fucking Shaq dunk. Alley-oop. That was kind of weak. Two-handed cram. Shaq style.
Yep.
Alley-oop looking like Amari.
So that's all we're asking for. I'll take less than that, if I'm being frank. I'll take less than that. I'll take touching the rim with your hand when you do a layup first. But it's crazy, man. I don't know. Maybe he's just in such a hurry to score. He's just like, let me just lay it up. I don't know. But man, let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights tonight. Interesting game. All Clippers early. And then the Suns were able to pull back. You were going
to Bridges and Cam Johnson went like 0 for 6 or something like that to start the game.
That was 3. Killer, man. They normally play a lot better than that. When Pat Bev is giving you threes, you know you're in for a long night. Chris Paul looking good from outside. I like that he had 15 points. I think he needs to be at or above 15 points every night. Here it is. Why not dunk that, Ayton?
That's the play that we were talking about, yeah.
Paul George looking like he's the only one in the gym right now.
Batum. Where the fuck has this guy been?
He's been with the Hornets.
Yeah, I haven't heard Batum's name in like 5 years.
You don't hear anything about the Hornets, and for good reason. And here he is.
And then Batum killed us, man.
I know.
He killed us, bro.
I bet he's glad to be on a good team.
Yeah. Yeah, he was on Portland for a while, right?
Chris Paul. They're just not giving Ayton. He was really good at Portland. They're just not giving Chris Paul an opportunity to give the ball to Ayton. Great pass. Doesn't even get his hands above the rim. The masked man. Kawhi looking good there.
That's his like patented fadeaway.
Do it more. I want to see more of it. Book. Tough floater, man. Tough.
Book was playing kind of garbage in the first. He turned it on in the second half, though. So
especially once you got that little tiff with your boy, Paul George. Campaign. I feel like he should have played a little bit more tonight. Lemon Pepper Lou. Got that 2-piece for you. See you at the strip club.
Cam Johnson.
He had a bad night. That was a great take, but he had a bad night, and it hurt us. Zubac here, just too tall for Saric. And we really don't give Book the ball enough in the post. Lemon Pepper. Got some sauce for the wings. Campaign with the mid-range. I feel like I missed that during the game. Paul George, man. It was just too easy. He's just walking to the rim.
Wide open.
Wide open.
See, that's the problem. That's why we got in this huge hole, is our defense was dog shit.
You're not lying, bro.
It's the fucking buzzer beater, like wide open threes. That's the thing that we haven't been giving up in the first, that's why we were 5-1, is our defense has been ridiculous. Transition D wasn't there tonight in the beginning. Just our defense was just lazy, sloppy, old school Suns, like Cam Johnson going around the screen there, wide open layups, kickouts for threes. Just, it didn't look good, man. Like, it's clear as day, bro.
There is no defending shots like that from Paul George. That's the thing. So
that's fine, but wide open threes, I mean, that they guarded that one pretty decent, but when people are like wide open, and then the sloppy just turnovers, dude. We had so many turnovers to begin the game, dude.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, I think Chris Paul might turn it over here. He turned it over. He's gonna turn it over later in the quarter for sure.
Crowder was quiet tonight. Played good defense, but just like that, you can't play defense any better than that without fouling.
Nah, they're just on a roll, man. George is lighting it up.
That's a nice, strong finish from Ayton.
This is where Cam Johnson gets dicked.
Cam is not a 4. He should. I can handle him at the 4, but not against Zubac. Man, they were hitting tonight, weren't they?
Yeah, they were just on fire, man. I think if they played again, that's why I said on Twitter, if this was a 7-game series, it'd be very interesting. Because
I could not agree with you more, man.
Clippers aren't going to be hitting shots like this every time. But then again, Kawhi is not going to have a night that he had. So
it's true. But Paul George, especially in the playoffs, is not going to play like this. He never does.
Isn't that the white boy from Troy that we were going to go after? Kennard or whatever his name is?
It is, yep. Great shooter.
Nice move. Sarek. See, Aiden's posting up down low. Book kicks it into him. That's a nice feed.
I mean, why not dunk it? Why not?
I mean, he doesn't have to dunk it every time, but block by Bridges. Bridges looks like a stick compared to Kawhi, dude.
He does, man. We were talking about that on Twitter. I think that he has a ways to go, but you can tell he's made a big improvement already.
How much pounds does Kawhi have over him, dude? It's crazy. He looks
30 at least.
Yeah.
This one right here, man, doesn't care that you're 7 foot. Just So when you're playing against a player like PG-13, that's a travel. I'm sorry. When you're playing against a player like him in a 7-game series, yeah, he's going to have a game like this every once in a while.
Batum again. Batum, yeah, keep going.
Like that. Batum's not going to be hitting like that either. But you just live with it, man. You go on to the next game. What we showed is you can have us down by 31 points, and we're not going anywhere. You're still going to have to beat us. We're going to catch up. We're going to catch up 30 points on you and be down 1. This team has so much resolve, man. I'm loving seeing it.
The reason why they got back into the game is they started playing defense. I mean, you could just look at the defense starting to pick up. The Clippers are getting challenged on every shot. Booker's getting a little bit more aggressive. That's tipped back by Aiden. Aiden just looked good tonight, man. I mean, you got to give him props. His defense is good too. That perimeter D right there, that was good.
Yep. That's just an unbeatable shot when you're hitting that step back in rhythm. That's why it's a step back. That's why it's fading. So you can't get blocked.
Yeah. Campaign is money with this threes.
Say that again.
Campaign is money with this threes.
He really is, man.
Sark with the putback money. Get that shit out of here. Who blocked that? Was it Bridges?
McHale. Great finish by Book. This is
defense. Look at this. How many points did they give up in the first 2 quarters, and then by the third quarter it was like back to almost average what they've been giving up. I mean, it's more. Obviously, they've been giving up less than 100 points a game. But
shot. Yeah, we only gave up 112 tonight for like you were saying, dog shit defense, and you still only give up 112. Our dog shit used to give up 160 sometimes.
Yeah. See, look at lead down to 5. He hits a 3 here. Lead down 2. It was at 30 plus. The Clippers. It's tough when you're a team, when you have to expend so much energy to get back in the game. It's hard to close the game. Even when they brought it back to this point, I was like, man, it's gonna be tough to win. You know?
Absolutely, because you've expended so much energy while they're just kind of cruising.
And then Ibaka hits a fucking 3, man. Come on, dude.
2 in a row. Completely wide open because Sarge just doesn't think he's going to hit him. Have you not seen him over the last 4 years?
This shit was stupid. This is the argument between
Book and PG. Yeah.
Book and George. We won't say what he said, but
begging them to pull him back. Please pull me back so I can look tough. This is just
sick ass shot right there.
Kobe.
Yep.
And then he was in his bag tonight, man. Look at this. What do you do?
Hey, Aiden was on him, and he was playing legit defense, bro. Like, legit in his face.
Aiden plays great defense on the wing. He's fast enough. He's got fast feet for a big man.
This is a money shot by Aiden.
It was. I thought he would pass it out to Crowder.
Over 2 people. Money shot by Book.
There was a stupid shot. That was going to be a long 2.
He got an and one there and missed the free throw. That was big. Then we leave Batum wide open, and he strokes this shit. That's when the game was over, really.
I think you're right, man. It's a matter of not closing out on threes tonight.
Yep.
I think that sums up the game. Didn't close out the 3 with the intensity, and they made us pay. They were hitting tonight.
Big time.
Yeah. So I didn't see the willingness from Ayton tonight to shoot those mid-ranges. Did you? I mean, I don't think he took that many, and they were hitting. I would love to see them just give him the ball at 15 feet away from the rim and let him make some decisions, especially on a night when it's not going for everyone else.
Well, he passes it up immediately when he gets it outside. Like, he doesn't even think about shooting those mid-range.
Do you think that's by design?
I think it's part of the coach's request to kind of swing it. I think the ball not sticking in one place, and maybe it's, I don't know. I've noticed that he doesn't really take, like, if he gets the ball top of the key or somewhere, he just gives it up immediately, passes out, swings it.
So you and I have both watched every minute of every game this year, correct? Mm-hmm. Even when we didn't want to tonight, still stuck with it. Who do you think has played the most impressive game against the Suns? You've had Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell,
Paul George.
Me too, man. I haven't seen anything like that this season. In person versus the Suns. That was
like one player. It's got to be him.
Yeah, I mean, if he could play like that all the time, and how does he just have it turn off for games? I just don't get it, man. That's what's holding him back.
Yeah, he doesn't show up in the playoffs, is what people say.
he got so much money from them, but he's not that player. Like, do you remember the last time we played the Clippers? He didn't play like that.
Yeah, he's streaky, man. Streaky.
Man.
So standings, kind of updated standings. Clippers are 5-2. We're 5-2. The Lakers are 5-2. Jazz that we beat 4-2. Pelicans are 4-2, which we smacked the shit out of them. And then it's just kind of dog shit after that. Rockets 2-2. Trailblazers 3-3. Charles Barkley's pick for the final to win it all, I guess, like an idiot. Warriors. What's up?
Who did he pick?
He picked the Trailblazers to win the championship, dude. He put like a lot of money on it, like 80 G's or something.
Who did the Trailblazers pick up that would make him think something like that was going to happen?
I don't know, man. He just saw the way they played. I have no idea. Ask Chuck, bro. It's not me.
I'll call him. Go on.
Steph Curry went the fuck off tonight. How much did he score? 62 or 63 or something?
We got to talk about that, man. 62 from Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a situation of he's every bit as great as we thought he was, and he's back to being healthy now.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't have the cast around him. Like you said 2 nights ago, Draymond Green is washed.
Big time.
Completely washed. Klay Thompson takes enough pressure off of Steph Curry to where they can be something incredible. But I don't know, this James Wiseman kid, their first pick that they took, I think he's doing pretty good, man. They finally have a big that they feel like they can trust. They're going to be back. I just think that they're going to be back at some point. I can't imagine these Warriors not coming back, right?
Well, how long is Klay out?
All year.
I mean, they're 3-3 right now. I feel like Steph Curry went God mode because he felt disrespected. Like, he ain't going to do that every game. I don't know what the final score was, but he's not going to be able to carry that team, in my opinion. I don't know. Their role players and the people they picked up are just kind of trashy. Oubre and Wiggins. I'm not really a big fan of their makeup. So I still think they could make the playoffs. I have no fucking idea. Like, the way that the standings are is it's strange. Thunder's 2-3, Nuggets 2-4, Spurs 2-4, Mavericks lost to the Bulls tonight. They're 2-4. The Timberwolves 2-4. The Grizz lost 2-4.
So one thing with the Grizzlies, how serious is John Morant's injury? I heard it was real serious. Like, they're done. Like, they're out of the playoffs now. Like, they're just going to lose too much ground.
Yeah, it depends on how long he's out. So, I mean, even if he's out like a couple weeks and they lose a bunch of games, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to catch back up.
That's a team I don't want to play. With this Suns team, I think we can handle them. But, man, I really fear playing against John Morant. Maybe it's just what he did to us all last year. Just the way he plays, man. He's like a supercharged Rajon Rondo. Like, he makes, like, in his prime, with super jumping ability and an actual shot. But just
he's like a Derrick Rose with the shot to me.
Yeah, maybe Derrick Rose is a better, but he's a 10 assist type of player. He's not a scorer only. He's a very much so a passing point guard.
Yeah, he's just as athletic as Rose. He can shoot better than him, dime better.
Almost like a Westbrook with a shot.
I think Rose is a better comparison, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Somewhere in the middle.
He doesn't rebound like Westbrook. I don't know, John Morant. I mean, Derrick Rose won an MVP at one point, so that's not a bad comparison, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, bottom line tonight, man, I just think it boils down to you have this Herculean performance from Paul George, plus they get up 31. That's just two things going at you that's going to be hard to negate, and we just couldn't get over both humps. And I think it says a lot about our team that they were so close to pulling that off at the end. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think they're in it to win it, man. I think it's just a long season, and you look at like all the other contenders out there, like same record for the Clippers and the Lakers. They've lost 2 games. We've lost 2 games. You can't win every game. And if you look at the strength of schedule for the Suns, I think they're the top team, if not, one of the top teams when it comes to strength of schedules. You just look at the teams we played. We played the Jazz, who are 4, the Clippers are 1. The Pelicans we beat, they're 5th right now. We played the Kings twice. They're still 9th. They're still close to playoffs. Played the Nuggets that are 11th right now for some reason, and the Mavs are 13th. But we played a lot of West teams and just crazy teams, in my opinion, and we came out 5-2, and I think that speaks volumes to where the rest of the season is going to go.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, man. We have had a very tough schedule, and if you were to look at the schedule, say last year's Suns, and look at the 5 games or 6-game, 7-game run that we've been on, 6 games. No, 7 now. If you look at the 7 teams that we played last year, you'd have been happy to go 50%.
Yeah, we probably came out of that like 1-6.
Don't say that. I don't think 1-6, but I think realistically, you would have been like, "Hey, we split it. We're good." We're better than that now, and that's exciting. And I can handle losing to the Clips when Paul George goes off like this. Man, no sweat. It's going to happen. And this, like you said, you can't win every game. This isn't an 8-game bubble. This is a 72-game season. So we're going to drop a few. I didn't think that we were going to go, 62-10, or anything like that. But we have a chance, man. We have a chance with this special Suns team to hit that 45 win mark we were talking about. Wouldn't it be something if they hit 50?
Yeah, they just need to keep going, man. Pedal to the metal. I know there's going to be rough spots. It always happens with teams and stuff. Injuries happen. Adversity happens. They just need to get as much wins as possible. You know what I'm saying? To just weather any kind of storm. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. The Mavericks are going to pick it up. Like, all these teams that are like 2-4 or 2-3, like they're going to be in the thick of it, man. Things are going to shuffle around. It's just they got to play their game. I think they're deep as hell. I think that if DA can play like he did the last couple games, Book will be an all-star. If Chris Paul can stay healthy, and we just play our game, I think we're good.
I can't wait until we go on a run of like 5 to 7 teams in the East. When we're playing like the Knicks and stuff like that, back to back with the Pistons and the Wizards and stuff like that, so we can just get some easy, good, high-scoring wins, some highlight plays, and really get back to feeling really good. Now, in 3 days, we've got the Raptors. That's another tough game because they play hard. They're champions. But after that, we've got Pistons, Pacers, Wizards, Hawks, Warriors, Pacers, Grizzlies with no jaw, Rockets. That might be the streak that I was actually just talking about, bro. That looks like almost a 9-game slate of expected wins. That's going to be great, man. Obviously, we'll be here. We'll be here on the 6th after the Raptors win.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, great talking with you again. And everybody, please give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe and show up after these Suns games because we're going to be breaking this stuff down for you. We're going to be also doing some pregame stuff. We're going to try to do some stuff on the off days. We're going to talk about some players around the league, maybe show what's going on with players like Steph Curry going off for 62, and we want to talk about Kelly Oubre. I don't know if he's hit a three at this season, 7 games in. But yeah, Salty, man, anything else you wanted to add?
I'm looking forward to the rest of the year, man. It's going to be a good one. Honestly, it's been a great season so far, and it's been good to kind of look forward to the Suns, especially with my luck with other teams. So hopefully they keep it going, man. Follow me on Twitter, Suns Valley Pod, that's the @ symbol. That's it.
Perfect, man. Hey, special treat. We're going to have Coach Evan go ahead and finish the show by just giving us a nice summation of his thoughts. And we get to just sit back and listen to Coach tell us what he thought of the game tonight. What's going on, Coach? How's that coach treating you?
Oh, it's terrible. We're in our 3rd round of quarantine over at the household, so nothing else to do but listen and watch Phoenix Sun stuff, listen to podcasts and all that. But I'm more pleased with the effort than I thought I would be after the first quarter and after the first quarter and a half. Obviously, with you being a Bears fan, and you needed that win today to go. You ended up going in, but you didn't know that going into the game, so you needed that win to get into the playoffs, right? Yeah, and so being a Cardinals fan and watching that trash just week in and week out, and I'm all aboard the fire Cliff Kingsbury train. Because if you root for a team that doesn't play with heart and effort, like, what are you doing? So watching them get demolished by Paul George and company was just, here we go. And then they made it a 31 game to 27. Then it got to 23. And then halftime, but it was 20, and Mikal Bridges missed that 3 to, possibly make it 17. I'm like, all right, something's going to happen with Paul Westfall's night. May he rest in peace. Came out, end of the 3rd, was down to 15, and all of a sudden it was single digits and got it down to 1. And I'm really impressed with how they overall came back. They played horrible, and they came back and they fought and they fought and they fought for every rebound too. You saw it with every loose rebound, every loose board, everything that was on the floor. They were fighting for it. They were jumping out of bounds to try to pass it in and save the ball. They were doing all the things right. They started getting chippy with Paul George, which I'm sure you guys covered. I don't even know what he was freaking out about. I'm sure he was salty after the bubble W by the Suns over him. But yeah, those were my big impressions. It's just the toughness, the grit, and this is the 7th game. I've said from the start, they're just only going to get better from here, especially after that Kings game. We know that they're going to get better. Those last 10, 15 games is going to be who we want them to be. Yeah. But seeing them come out and not give up just gave me a whole lot of hope. And you kind of saw that. I forget it was the first Kings game or maybe it was a Mavericks game. You kind of saw it then. We went down 12 or 13 or 11 like really quickly, and then just came right back. And you knew right then, like, this is a different Suns team already, right? And so when they came back and they kept fighting and they didn't give up, I was more impressed with that than not a W. You'd like to come from behind 31, but then everyone's just going to blame the Clippers meltdown for that, right? It has nothing to do with the Suns, what they would have done. Yeah. But maybe a loss, knocks them in the head a little bit. They need to come out and play harder and more aggressive to start the game, because I think that's been an issue with every single game. I was going to go ahead and look at the box scores of the game before I jumped on here, but I would venture to guess we have yet to win a first quarter. And if we did, which I think we might have, it was by like maybe 1, 2, or 3 points. Yeah. Very slim, very marginal. Am I off on that?
No, you're right. We're not doing great in the first quarter, but then we're usually getting hot in the second quarter.
Yeah, definitely. And they make adjustments, which is what I love. If you can make adjustments in the game, that is a sign of a really good team. A lot of teams make adjustments at halftime. If you can do it in game, I am all about that.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I was really worried about going into the game was kind of a letdown, which we clearly had. We had the letdown factor. But man, the dagger for me tonight was Serge Ibaka's 2 threes in a row. That to me was the dagger. Paul George was going to get his. Kawhi only 4 for 21, which really shocked me. But just leaving him right there and letting him shoot when you know he can shoot, that was the dagger, man. Because you're down 2 or down 1, then you go down 4, then you get a 2, and then you go down 5 again. And then we were about that 5 range for the most part for the rest of the game. Dario, it just slipped, man. But Paul George
had a great game. Dario had a great game, but we watched the replays, and even on that first 3 that he hit, Dario's like, oh, I'm supposed to go guard him. Oh, whoops! Like, come on, bro. You should know that he can hit the 3 and that he's willing to. He's not 8. He's going to shoot a 3 if you leave him open.
You know, I think it had something to do with what Eddie Johnson said on the broadcast when he hit them. He goes the whole game, doesn't get a point or even a shot attempt. I forget the exact phrase, and then he comes back, and now he's got 6 points within 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he lulled him to sleep at that point. He was going to pass, and everybody knows he's not going to drive. Eddie Johnson said it on the broadcast, too. We know he ain't going to drive. I know it, and, I didn't watch the Raptors a whole lot, but we know he ain't going to do that. But give it up for Paul George, man. He hit some tough shots. He hit shots I wanted Book to hit tonight. I thought Book did a lot better. He got chippy. He played harder. I really want him to start looking for a shot more. Like, when is he going to get a 30-piece this season, I'm not bagging on him. I'm just saying I want him to get a 30-piece. So when's he going to do it? I thought DeAndre Ayton finally played. I mean, he still won't dunk, but I'm sure you guys covered that still.
Of course.
DeAndre Ayton played a lot better game. They were able to get him passes when they were in the lane, too. It wasn't like there were a lot of passes from the three-point line going into the lane. They were already in the lane or driving and then, dumped it off to him real quick, which I thought was a nice little wrinkle, which we haven't seen yet. Chris Paul looked like an all-star the first quarter and then just kind of trailed off. He did a lot of the right little things, but offensively just kind of trailed off a little bit. But Mikal and Cam and Jay Crowder missing all those, I think that was killer. A positive, though, Book was 10 for 12 from the free throw line. I think that's a really good sign there because he went 4 for 7 the other night. Then he goes 10 for 12. The fouls that I was bitching about the other night against the Jazz, 2 straight games, the fouls and free throws have gone in our favor. I never thought I'd see the day against Denver and against the Clippers. I thought it was overall a pretty decently rough game. I definitely thought we got a few of the lucky calls there. But heart, grit, effort, not giving up. Give our coach a damn lifetime contract now because we don't see that a lot, man. We don't see that.
You're not kidding. And it's been so tough for us to find a coach. The fact that he passed up the Lakers job, knowing probably full well that LeBron was going to be there and still choosing to come to us, it's like he's our guy,
That you're right. That I forgot about that point. That really says something that he wanted to come here.
Remember Fitz?
Incredible.
You remember what's his name? Fitz, that was the coach for the Knicks.
Fitzpatrick, right?
Fizdale.
Oh, yeah.
He snubbed us. Booker and the Suns weren't good enough. He's going to go to Madison Square Garden. Goes there, chokes, gets fired, and we end up with Monty, who picks us. So, we were just talking about essentially tonight. We think it came down to the Suns not closing out on threes. And when you watch their highlights, it's very obvious. They allowed probably 7 I can think of off the top of my head, wide open point blank threes that just no one was guarding them. We weren't hitting our threes, and they were getting open threes. Paul George has a Herculean effort, and we go down 31. It was just too many things, but it still says something about our team that you could have all those things going against us, and we still brought it within 1 point in the last few minutes. So, we talked about how you can't win every game, but it's important to look at these losses, the few losses that we are going to get here and there, hopefully. You're going to look at those losses and say, well, what happened? Did we get blown out by 31? No, we came back and brought it to 1. Okay, moral victory. I mean, these aren't the losses that our old Suns used to have.
We would have folded. Oh, we would have folded. I'm sure you guys discussed that. We would have folded. We would have bent over and said, let's go to the next one. But, you know, real quick, while I'm thinking about it, the one thing that really stood out, I watched the coaches bench a lot during that time. Never once did I see Monty throw his hands up in disgust or go sit down and just be like pouting and shaking his head. Never once did I see any of that. And that is a sign of a damn good leader.
Yeah, man, he looks like it. And they obviously love him. They've completely bought in. So, man, we're lucky to have him. Anyways, man, thanks for coming out. Anything else you got to say about the game tonight? We're going to be back in on Wednesday. We got the Raptors.
We got the Raptors. You know, they're 1-3 or 1-4. They're something like that. They're not looking too good. You know, they lost Marc Gasol. Obviously, they lost Glacier. Pascal Siakam is a shadow of himself.
Is he?
He's a number 2 or number 1 option on a team that before he was a 3 or a 4 option. You know, when they had Lowry, Van Fleet, and then they had Kawhi, and then they could pass it out to Marc Gasol, or they would have Ibaka come in to kind of stretch the floor. You know, that gave Siakam a lot of room, but they don't have that now. You know, Van Fleet is a baller. I love Van Fleet. I love everything about him. I might like him more than Cam Payne, believe it or not. But
yeah, no, I'm not going to hate on you for that. I understand. And when they had that championship run with Kawhi, I just kind of brushed him off like he's probably just a one-year wonder. He came back and proved that he was the same player. He's just small and unimpressive to look at. So you think he's not going to be what he is, but man,
he's a combo guard, right? He's not your traditional 2 guard. He's not going to go stand there, make plays, and do all that. He's a combo guard.
Too.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a Bradley Beal frame. He's a little bit smaller than Bradley Beal, but he's an off-ball guard that can also handle the point at times. You know, almost like not like an Eric Bledsoe, but Eric Bledsoe's not a true point guard to me. He's more of an off-ball as well too. But I mean, they're traveling to us. They play tomorrow, and then they travel to us. They're at home in Tampa now. They travel to us, you know, which is always good. We have that loss. We finally get 2 days off in a row, which I think is going to be big.
Right.
I'm bummed because I'm in quarantine, and, you know, I wish they could play every day this week, so I had something to do, right? But 2 days off is going to be good for them. I'm curious to see if they're going to rest anybody with 2 days off. I wouldn't think Dario would go out. Is Jalen Smith going to be back? Curious to see how that winds up. So I'm very excited for that game. That needs to be a dub. That's the game you really need to come out and you need to handle and take care of business. And don't let Lowry or Fred VanVleet go off on you. Like, for God's sakes, get Devin Booker on whoever's going to play the 3 for them right now, which is OG Anunoby, I think. Let Booker handle him and put Mikal or something on that. My problem with that is that Mikal, he doesn't quite have the foot speed to keep up with really fast guards. We saw that against De'Aaron Fox a few times, and we definitely saw it against Jamal Murray. Everybody was bitching about putting Mikal Bridges on Jamal Murray, right? Jamal Murray went by him quite a few times with ease. So I'm curious about how the defensive end they're going to rotate, but we really need them coming out and playing lights out tomorrow. But I think Jay Crowder's going to have his hands full with Siakam. He's going to be able to do a good job. We're going to get that dub, go to 6-2, and we'll be looking on to the next one.
That's what I like to hear, man. Thanks for stopping by again. Can't wait to talk after the Raptors game. But
absolutely.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Check us out on Wednesday night. Like I said, hit that like button. Give us a subscribe. And we'll be back. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good night. Go Suns.